Good evening, everyone. I'm Iron Will Becker, and I'm reading this book right now that I'm really enjoying. And I came across this passage yesterday, either this morning or yesterday, and I just want to read this to you from Sam Walton. I think every good company has got to have a partnership relationship. Really, with their employees, you have got to work in their best interest, and eventually it will come back to the company. So, really straightforward, really direct quote. Really, maybe that's not best phrasing. Sam is making a very strong point here. And a lot of times in a company, you find some hostility towards the employees, sometimes toward the customers, and the company's really missing out on what potentially could be a strong relationship. Excuse me. Because they're choosing not the partner. And in each company that may look differently. And with different people in the company, it can look differently. Because here's the thing. You may have a fantastic company culture. You may have a fantastic team that you're working with. But the question comes down to, is there leadership? Are your people empowered to lead in their space? I remember reading a story one time about a company that, I think it's Neiman Marcus actually. They took a tire as a return from a lady who swore she bought it there. And they just took the tire back. They said, okay. I don't know the details of how they figured out the value or things like that, but they took this tire back because the employee was empowered to serve the customer. And I know we can get into whole things about customers not always right, things like that. The thing that I have been most impressed with in my leadership journey is that everything is about relationships, okay? Everything. Sales, customer service, sales, working in a team. Everything is about the people skills, and it's about leadership. And when you put those together and you have the right instruction, you empower your team, you empower the individuals in your team. And then you've got to do the hardest part of all, is extending trust. You've got to be willing to trust. And sometimes in a business relationship, that can be super hard. And what I'm learning is one of the ways that you help foster that is by speaking your intent. I do these book reviews. I do these videos about living a principle-centered life because my intent is to encourage somebody to pick up a book and read it. Maybe you're picking up a novel for the first time in 20 years. Maybe you're picking up a leadership book for the first time in 5 years. Excuse me. Or maybe you've never really been a reader and you download your first audiobook. Here's the thing. Reading is the only way that we can take somebody else's life experience, condense it down to a few hours, and learn from it. And so it doesn't matter. Well, okay, that's not true. There are some books that you can probably find some leadership stuff in, but it might be harder to find it in there. My first books that I read that taught me leadership were comic books. The second books that I read that taught me about leadership were fantasy novels. And now I read books written by professionals about leadership. I listen to audios from guys who are in leadership for 20, 30 years. And I want you to understand that extending trust and educating your people to be leaders. Seriously, I'm yawning tonight. Is about building your company. It's about building your team or your contract. And it's funny. You can work in an environment where there's a high security clearance, but there can be mistrust in the team. And I got to tell you that can be a killer for a contract, for a company. And man, you and I need to extend trust. My 16-year-old is learning to drive. Well, he's got his driver's license, so he's driving. This year he went from driving a little bit to driving quite a bit to driving himself to work, driving himself to the other county, doing this, doing that. And here's the thing. It's about that trust. J.M. Barrie, the author of Peter Pan, said that never ascribe to an opponent, or the writer of this book says, or I would say to anyone, motives meaner than your own. We tend to judge others more on their behavior than on their intent. And a lot of times we judge our intent versus someone else's actions. And that's not really fair. It's not really just. It's not really the best way to go about that. And what I hope that you're getting is that trust is a two-way street, just like respect. You got to give to get. And building partnerships in your business and in your organization is what makes them more successful. I was listening to an audio recently by one of the founders of the company I'm with, and talks about Tylenol and how when Tylenol pulled everything off the market, they lost millions of dollars, but they built huge brand trust. They created tamper-proof caps. They did a bunch of different things to help secure the medicine, the pain relievers and things that they were creating. And what they did is they set an example of trust. And we could argue, marketing dollars, all that kind of stuff. But it has been shown that they have taken a loss for that, pulling all that product off the market. I remember it vaguely, kind of more in the periphery of my memory. And then I actually remember the news and things like that from that event. But look, here's the thing. You want to develop partnerships. And one of the things that I'm learning is how to build those and create those. And I absolutely love it. I love it. Because I'm extending trust. Trust is being extended to me. And we're working through our differences, our different ideas. But what makes it so much easier is we have principle-centered leaders with skin in the game and experience that are leading the way. Makes a huge difference when you have when that level of competency at play in your organization. And it could be small or large. It can be small or large. That is not so much the matter, or the size doesn't matter in that case, but it's the character and integrity of the individual. Okay, whether it's a CEO or a CFO or a team lead. So build partnerships. It makes business easier. It makes customer relationships easier. And when we extend trust, it makes a huge difference for our businesses and our friendships and our other relationships that we have. My friends, if you get value from this video, please like and share it. Invite your friends to the platform. And what I want to do is say thank you very much for being here. Hope you guys go out and make it a great day and a great week. Talk to you later.